What's going on? Thanks for coming, Cheryl. You're like, is this real? That's a fair question. I was just reminded of there's a great meme of the kid who just went to the dentist's office. Oh my gosh. The kid who just went to the dentist's office. Okay. There we go. So I'm testing this on, I'm going to go live on Facebook as well. So here we go. I'm just going to go live on a completely separate device because, hello, Facebook. There we go. I don't know what else to do. I've been trying to get, third-party software to work on Facebook and YouTube so I can multi-stream, and I want to be able to have comments. It's just, man, what a huge problem. Yeah, Cheryl, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I really appreciate your patience with all of my testing and this and that. It's been quite a quite a thing. There we go. Now I've got my screen up. And let's see if Facebook Live is working. I don't know if I'm going to get anybody attending, but anyone who does attend on Facebook is great. Thank you. Thanks for everybody who's here. I think I have one person on Facebook. So great. Fantastic. Mr. Squiggle. Wow. Thanks everybody for coming in. I kind of a sleepless night last night, with all of the missile attacks. I'm sure you saw it in the news. It's just missile attack, 72 missiles, 10 Kinzels. And by the way, thanks, last one. I'm streaming directly to my profile, Cheryl, on Facebook, and let me see if I can. Give me a second. I'm going to go onto one of my other windows. Too many windows open right now. Okay. Here. All right, great. So I'm going to go into YouTube, and then my multi-streaming software is not letting me. Let's see if I can do it this way. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, if you want to be friends with me on YouTube, Cheryl, I am Ingvald Havshold. I am not concerned about doxing myself, I can tell you. Ellie, you can't hear me. Let me see if that might be my fault. No? Okay, so on Facebook, I've got 2 people watching. Thanks, Ellie. You can't hear. Oh, wait. You can't hear because your ears are broken or because my sound is broken. Either thing is possible at this point. Anyway, thank you very much, Ellie, for coming. So Cheryl, on Facebook, I am Ingvald Havshold. That's my Viking name, if you want to know. Oh, wow. Thanks. Thank you, last one. Thanks a lot. I don't have a lot to report today with regards to what's going on in Ukraine. It's just missile attack. Okay. Unfortunately, this actually happened in like the part of Kyiv where I lived, actually, which sucks. Oh, it's you, Ellie? Okay, thanks. I'm glad to know. I mean, I'm sorry that you can't hear. What's wrong with your ears? Okay, that's a story for another time. I have a viewer over on Facebook who is having trouble hearing. Oh, and David Noel just joined on Facebook. I'm Herb. Herb says my Viking name is Karlek. Awesome. So for people who are just coming in, I'm actually live streaming on 2 separate devices right now. And if you are on Facebook, I would encourage you, if you want to see what the hell I'm talking about. I can't share my screen on Facebook yet. I tried to get this all set up. It's supposed to be working. I'm supposed to be live on Facebook from my streaming software, and it just flat out isn't working at all. But if you want to see what the hell I'm talking about, like what's on the screen that I'm sharing, you can go over to YouTube, and my YouTube is @Y Ukraine. So yeah, Cheryl, I bet. Yeah, it's a Scandinavian name. Ingvald Hafskjold was the name of my first Norwegian ancestor to set foot in the United States. So that's, and since, as you know, I am a historical recreator, as we say, and the Ellie and David, who are with me on Facebook, are both fellow reenactors, recreationists. They use the word historical reconstruction here in Ukraine, which I rather like that term. Sorry, I'm grabbing my second cup of coffee over here. There we go. Coffee yoga. I think 3 cups of coffee should do it today. Oh, that's smart. Facebook username and pinned comments. Yes, except I'm using third-party software to do that. So does it allow me to pin? Yeah. Dang it. It's not letting me do that. I'm sorry. I will figure that out, though. Give me time. I'm not going to stop this just doing this just because of one stupid error. Yeah, all right. Well, 3 people on Facebook, that's a good start. At least if I screw up, it's not in front of, a million people or something. Not that that's ever going to be a worry for me. Okay, hang on a second. And keep in mind, guys, it's 5:30 in the morning here. For me, I've been up since 4 or 4:30, and it just takes a while for my brain to switch on and decide it wants to work. These missile attacks, some of them came in the neighborhood where I used to live in Kyiv. And if you don't know what this part of, and I want to get to the part about Podil. Where's the part about car dealerships? Oh yeah, here we go. Well, there's no pictures with this, but large car dealerships in Kyiv suffer from morning enemy attack. That's like, I know where this place is. Screw up loud and proud. Thanks, Herb. By the way, David, feel free to chat if you are watching. Basically right now I'm just going to translate back and forth between my YouTube chatting and my Facebook chatting so that, you guys can get together. Yeah. Also, I have a Facebook group, and that is pinned on the link to all of my the Facebook group is I think it's called Why Ukraine. The International Legion Auxiliary Corps is actually what it's called. And then I have a Facebook page as well, but I don't know. Facebook makes everything so difficult. I just want to give you guys a sense of what this part of Ukraine, by the way, that's not where I'm living, right, where it's zoomed in on Shpola. So here, all right, let's back out, right? Let's get a sense of, here's Ukraine, okay? And I'm going to switch over to satellite mode. I want to give you guys a sense of where this all is. When they asked you, so Cheryl Watley says, when they asked me during a job interview what tree I was, I replied Yggdrasil, the tree from which Odin hung upside down for 9 nights to obtain the elixir of healing. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, as an Asatru, I can. That's, yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so wow, last one. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. By the way, this is my wife's embroidery back here. She is also in our chat, but she went back to bed. So she just joined. She's like, okay, I'll help. I'll join. And then now she's in bed again. So, all right. So here's Kiev. It's a big city. All right. It was, altogether, including all of the sort of the districts around before the war, it was about, some people say maybe 5 million. Okay. I just want to give you a sense of the scale of Kiev. After Silicon Valley, which is Silicon Valley is more of a collection of very small cities, rather small cities. After Silicon Valley, Kiev is the largest city I've ever lived in, and the best by far. Thank you. Last one. You're awesome, dude. For reals. So I just want to show where, when we talk about where these missile attacks are happening, these places I've starred here, these are just from my own Google Maps, and these are just places that I have frequently gone. And maybe I'll give you a little bit of a show of where those are and places where, so I'll just zoom in here. So this is kind of the heart of Kiev. Okay. And I'm talking about like when Kiev was first founded as a city more than 1,000 years ago. What we're zooming in, like right here, this area was Kiev, okay? And the Podilsky district, or the Podil district, is right here. And if you want to know what Podil, and in Russian it's Podol, what it means, this is something very interesting you should know. Podil, you'll see cities named Podil, you'll see, or Podilska, the various versions of that word. And what it means is the bottom of a woman's skirt. That's what Podil is. It's the bottom of a woman's skirt. So it's the yes, correct, Chris. Yeah, I'm from Sacramento originally, but like when I worked at NASA, I lived in Sunnyvale. The hem, yes, the hem. Thank you, the hem. But the hem specifically, the hem of a woman's skirt. The bottom hem of a woman's skirt. Which is it's just very interesting. That's what this is called. And you'll see some cities and villages and towns, or parts of cities, that are called this here in Ukraine. And it is, tied for, I would say, the oldest district in Kiev, along with sort of like this area. So on a hill, okay, this is this area here that I'll show you on the map is where the big cathedrals are. And this is a huge, like almost a cliff going down to the river. And I'm going to say a few hundred feet down. And then there's a couple of roads, not a lot of roads, but there are some roads like this one here. This is Andreevsky descent. And I don't know if you can tell how steep this is. It's a lot steeper than it looks in this picture. This is a very ancient road going up, but going between the original cathedral. So you can kind of just get a sense. Going between the original cathedral, which is up on top of the hill, and the Podil district, which is going down. And there's it's kind of a touristy market bazaar. I've walked this space literally 1,000 times. Literally 1,000 times. Ben, thank you for coming. I just want to let you know that I am also live streaming on YouTube. And my YouTube is @Y Ukraine, like the word Y, Ukraine. The name of my channel is Y Ukraine. In the winter when it's freaking icy as shit. Oh, dude. And I will tell you, I have slipped and fallen on my ass in this part of town for sure. Jed, thanks for coming. Jed just joined us on Facebook as well. So the Podil district is at the bottom of this hill, and it's absolutely beautiful. When I first came to this area, my first thought was, wow, it reminds me of like San Francisco in a way. You've got trolley cars going all over the place, and you've got these kind of interesting architecture, old looking buildings. And then I realized actually, no, actually, it's not that this looks like San Francisco. San Francisco looks like this. It's the other way around. So, but yeah, if you're young, and there's one of the trolley cars right there, trams, they call them. The cobblestones. Oh man, dude, it's you have to step very carefully. And in fact, I try to avoid the Andreevsky descent when it's super icy. I try to take other routes that are, there's like different back ways and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, this is a place that I've literally been here like more than 1,000 times, 5,000 times. The whole center of the Podil district kind of looks like that. If you're young and you're working in tech, this is kind of like the cool place to be. There's all kinds. It's a lot like San Francisco in the sense that there's a lot of little bars and pop-up restaurant kind of places that you can just kind of explore and find here and there. Cool little architecture. Sometimes, sometimes not. So this is it's super old, and this is the area where when the Vikings came, like the Varyagi or what have you, this is where they never wear wet moccasins on a wet sidewalk. Yeah. So this is where they would have landed their boats. And it's at the bottom of the hill, and that's why it's called like the bottom hem. The area where there were some car dealerships, and I could be mistaken about this, but the area where the car dealerships were bombed, or bombs came close to, is up in this area, which is slightly more of like an industrial zone. And it goes into like a really hardcore industrial zone right up in this area here. So where the car dealerships are like kind of in this general. Here we go. Hyundai, you can see kind of up in this neck of the woods, as it were. So it's a little bit more of an industrial area. Not so nice looking, but there you have it. Yeah, so I don't know. I almost didn't do a stream today just because, with all this stuff going on, the bombings and missiles, I didn't sleep very well. Let's put it that way. But I'm 2.5 or 1.5 cups of coffee in. So I'm in for the marathon now. It does me no good to go back to bed at this point. So I also am kind of dealing with some news that I got that a member of my Ukrainian family here. Yeah, KK, yeah, Auto Row. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's Auto Row. Thanks. Anyway, I was just about to say that. So a member of my Ukrainian family here. Well, they've come back from the war, but the reason that they've come back is not so great. And here's the thing. We need to be realistic. I just want everybody to. This is a war, Yeah, that's the thing. Like the Russians, this missile stuff is just a psyop. Really, it's not going to accomplish anything, honestly. But it does have a psychological effect, and I know a lot of people in Kyiv and in Ukraine who it's like, oh, the bombings have started again, and they're kind of re-experiencing the trauma of last year. I guess I'm lucky in the sense that I've experienced a lot of trauma in my life, and so this feels very normal to me. It's still not easy, but yeah, Herb. So he's back, but his unit isn't, and his company isn't, and I just want to be realistic about the fact that it's not all going to be Ukraine is winning the whole time, rah-rah sessions. Ukraine's going to lose sometimes too. And we need to be, the thing is if you're not psychologically prepared for that, you're right, we'll win eventually. But if you're not psychologically prepared to take some losses some of the time, and that losses means humans, you're going to get disheartened is the word. You're going to feel that. Hi, Mitch. Thanks for coming in. You're going to, if you keep your expectations so high that, if anything bad happens, then it's like, oh no, Ukraine is dying. Then, you're going to go through that constantly over and over and over again. And, a lot of Ukrainians are going through that. They're keeping up with the news every single day. Yeah, exactly, Cheryl. Just when Zelensky wanted people to return to Ukraine to boost the economy, that's why I say it's a psyop. Primarily, it's a psyop. There's a lot of Ukrainians who want to come back, and but every time this happens, then they're like, oh shit, no, I guess I shouldn't. Or they're here, or they have come back, and they're like, oh my god, I've got to get out of here. Yeah, it's some people have great resilience and some less. It just depends on. It's a matter of your character, but also your overall life experience. And the thing that we have to understand is what's at stake. What's at stake? It's not just it's not just this little car dealership in Podil. It's not just my home here or my livelihood. It's not just Ukraine. It's not even just Europe. Exactly, Cheryl. How terrible it must have felt in 1942. And we're not even in 1942 yet. We're still in 1949, to be honest. Maybe 1940, This is not even just about Europe. This is, we can see the wars popping up in, Venezuela and Yemen with the Houthis and Taiwan. Okay. They are, when I say they, I mean China and Russia. They are deliberately turning this into a world war. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry to say this, but World War III is already here. And, we're like, no, trying to do whatever we can to stop it from happening, bracing our legs, but something keeps pulling us along like a lassoed horse or something. Yeah, we can avoid 1942 if we don't tear each other apart over petty BS. Thank you, KK. K and K. But that is what's happening and in the United States and in Europe to some degree. The Russian psyops are working, to an extent. A perfect example here, Slovakia. It's a small, tiny country, right? Just to give you a sense of where Slovakia is. If you don't know, it's right here. I've been there. I was there this year. Wait, this year? No, shit. Last year. Last year, I forgot. Forgot it was 2024. So this is Slovakia. And, they're a small country. They're a poor country compared to the rest of Europe. And they may not seem like they matter much, but they have a vote in the EU. And between them and Hungary, it's enough to stop that funding coming directly from the EU. And they're still, even within Slovakia, they're kind of tearing themselves apart, So this is the president of Slovakia, okay, and she's for Ukraine. And it's interesting you guys are talking about presidential race, but we'll get to that. So this is the president of Slovakia. She's for Ukraine, but the new and super corrupt prime minister, this dude here, Robert Fico, he's anti-Ukraine, and he's kind of a wannabe Orban. He's a wannabe Orban or a wannabe Trump. And that's the thing. There's a pattern to these pro-Russian people that are emerging. They're all quote unquote right-wing oligarchs. or wannabe oligarchs like Trump, and Robert Fico is very much in that mold, essentially. So it's like, why? I mean, the question will have to come up. Why are these assholes still allowed in the quote-unquote coalition? Why are they still allowed in NATO? Why is Hungary and Slovakia, why are they still allowed to be in NATO and even the EU? So 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 we're talking, we got Venezuela. These are all just, they were all sort of under the surface potential conflicts that are now deliberately being stirred up by the KGB. And it just shows you how fragile peace is, how fragile freedom is, and they say that, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. I think that the price of freedom is also internal vigilance, but we can talk about that. So Nikki Haley is, I would agree, is the best Republican candidate. Still not great, because if Nikki Haley gets elected, she's not going to be able to stop the crazy Mike Johnsons from running rampant, and we need that. We need that counter. We need Biden or Kamala's veto power, essentially. Yeah, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. I think this is a good opportunity with that idea in mind to share with you guys a little bit of a controversial idea. And I think I might have mentioned it briefly before in a live stream many, many, many weeks ago. But I want to show you something here in Ukraine, in Kyiv. Let's see if we can come to it. This is a school where I teach. It's called My Butni, which means future. Obviously, I teach online right now because I'm not in Kyiv. But this is, by the way, hello, Bob Ross. We just had someone join us on Facebook. Thanks, Bob. Unfortunately, my third-party streaming software is really being a giant dickweed. And so I can't share my screen with you. I'm just basically running my live streams on two separate devices right now. So if you want to see what I'm showing people, you'll have to join on. Hi, Bradford. Thanks for coming. How's Albuquerque doing these days? So what I was saying is, hi Bob. If you want to see what I'm talking about, rather than just looking at my face, I apologize, but you'll have to go and check me out on YouTube. So, wow, a lot of people joining. Hello, Victoria. So there's a school. I'll translate this to English. It's in Podil, in this area that's getting bombed. It's called My Butni. What's special about it? Yeah. It is a democratic school. Yeah. Democratic school. What do you guys think that means? When I tell Ukrainians about democratic schools, they think the democratic school means any school that's in a democratic country. Oh, thanks, Bradford. Yeah, sorry, it sucks over here on Facebook. You know, so a democratic school is kind of an interesting thing. Let's go and check it out. I'll show you a. Now this is an American video, but let's see. Yeah, I think this is a good one to look at. Schools are segregated according to party lines. Yeah, that's the other very interesting thing that people usually say. Oh, are we going to have Democratic schools and Republican schools? I mean, that alone right there just shows you how how twisted and screwed up our American minds are, into this black versus white like sports teams democracy. And I wouldn't even call it a democracy anymore. Let me show you what democracy looks like. And I guess
and then pull them. I make a
okay. Come on.
Motion out a lot.
Let's see if I can get the sound to play here. I think my computer is telling me I'm stressing it out too much. Let's see. Here we go. All right, now why do I have no sound? Let's try here. You can hear it? Oh, great. You can hear it, but I can't? Okay, fine. That's hilarious. There's sound on YouTube? Oh, thanks, Bradford. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right. Oh, that's interesting. Now it's silent. So now you guys can't. Okay, now you can hear it. Now you can't. Awesome. Okay. Wow. Let's try it now. No audio on YouTube now. Fantastic. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, we've got sound on Facebook, but not on YouTube. Okay. Yeah, you can get the sound on Facebook. No, no. Awesome. I broke the internet. Fantastic. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you guys had sound and I didn't. And now I don't have a way. Yeah, fair enough. Can you guys hear my microphone at least? Okay. And you can hear me on. All right. Fantastic. Wow, Russell, thanks for joining. Russell, I am live streaming both on Facebook and YouTube. But if you want to see what I'm talking about, unfortunately, you have to go over to YouTube. So it's @ Why Ukraine, like the word why Ukraine. Okay, fantastic. All right, well, I tried to show the video. I will post it to our chat so you guys can watch it at a later time. There you go. Yeah, hey, thanks, Russell. Thanks for joining, man. How's New Mexico? You're still down there in Las Cruces, yeah? Anyway, so what is a democratic school? Yeah, it's a school where the kids all get to vote. And I know there's no sound, but I'll just show you another example of like what that looks like. So a school meeting. Looks like this. So everybody's talking. Oh yeah, Facebook is far behind the stream. Wow, awesome. Oh hey, Black Comitatus. Cool, thanks, Russ. Thanks for coming in. Well, I haven't seen you in a long ass time, dude. Super cool. I'm so glad that I know it's wonky and shitty, but I'm so glad that I'm finally getting to like connect with people on Facebook because I have so many friends on Facebook that don't even know I have a YouTube channel, you know. So anyway, so yeah, so this is a democratic school in America, and the kids meet like once a week, and they make all sorts of decisions. Like this girl that you're looking at in the video, she's like 16 or 17 years old, and she's the president of the school, and the teachers and the students all get together and they practice democracy. Um, it's oh, April, thanks for coming in. Yeah. You'll have to, if you want to see what I'm showing on my screen, you'll have to join on YouTube now because my third-party software just wasn't working. Um, so I just want to just show you what it looks like because this is what we do in my Botany school. Is we have these school meetings and make all the they make all the decisions to run the school. The kids and the teachers and the staff. Are there multiple political parties within the school system? It's a very interesting question. So Bradford just asked, are there multiple political parties within the school system? Well, hi April. Okay, you're on both sides. Great, awesome. So interestingly, I would say that there are interest groups. I mean, if you think about it, if you remember high school, there's these things called cliques, little, and they're horrible, they're awful. And so, yeah, I mean, those things exist. But they're more like interest groups. So if there's a group of kids that wants to learn a specific thing, then they get together into a political party, and they effectively a political party, and they say, hey, we want to learn this thing, we want to learn that thing, and teachers can propose the different things that they want to learn as well. I started teaching there in 2021, 2021, and I started obviously teaching English, but also IT, computers, computer knowledge. They didn't have that at the school at the time. Kids looking for work. What's that, Mitch? Actually, some of the kids, they don't really form political parties so much as what we call committees. So basically, if there's a group of kids who are interested in doing one thing or another, then within the democratic process, there's a process in Robert's Rules of Order, or parliamentary process. You form a committee, and so you create the math committee or the computer class committee, whatever. The way my Bootney works is every 7 weeks, I want to say, the students rotate to different classes. So each class that they take is 6 weeks long. And for the first week, they get to try out a bunch of different classes and see which ones they want to go to and which ones they like. It's a little bit confusing. Oh, hi, K-Bill. We're talking about democratic schools in Ukraine and practicing democracy in general. So you didn't miss much. We were talking about the bombings earlier, the freaking crazy ass shite. But yeah, so yeah, this exists. Now, this exists in America too, but this exists in Ukraine, in Kyiv. Okay, here it is. Here's the school, and it's actually it's in this building is the point, upstairs there. And unfortunately, it's a private school. It's not government funded. But it's amazing. It's amazing. Oh yeah, you missed out. We're kind of doing a little tour of Kyiv. So I've been hired there. The kids decided they wanted an English class, and they hired me for the English class, and then they decided that they didn't like the way I taught. So I've been hired and fired by these kids like 3 times. So Cheryl, sometimes they use ranked choice voting. It depends on the situation. They decide how they want to vote. Like when they're voting for which classes they will join, they decide that if they want to use ranked choice voting or if they want to, with some types of classes, it's necessary. So yeah, I started teaching computers there, and I think that anyone who wants to be a citizen of a democracy should. The problem is our school systems in whatever country you happen to be in are totalitarian states. You have somebody who tells, a bell rings when it's time to go from one place to another place. They tell you when you can eat, when you can take a shit. Every part of your day is essentially controlled. And if you spend 12 years living that way, how can you be expected to just all of a sudden be a citizen in a democracy? Yeah, of course. Yes, Mitch, they all get the basic education that they need. And in Ukraine, they have to take like a examine everyone when they reach 17 has to take a like a final test of general basic skills, essentially, before they can graduate. And their level in this test determines whether or not they can go to university, and often whether or not they will be mobilized into the army, for example. So it's pretty freaking important. Mitch, Ukraine 13 years. Do you mean how old they are when they take the test? No, the ZNO. It's called the ZNO test, which I don't remember what that stands for, but it's a test of basic skills, and they take it at 17 or in 11th grade, because their school system only goes up to 11th grade, and then they have the ability to go into either university or into like a technical, what we would call like a community college, or a technical college, something like that, or into the army. And so so they unlike Mr. Squiggle says, unlike the US, voting is compulsory in Australia. Yeah, I think that is super important. I think that all democratic countries need compulsory voting. Really. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, Mitch, I see. Yeah, 13. Yeah, so there's 12 grades. So they have kindergarten and then 1st through 11th. My first year of American college counted as Canadian grade 13. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people have had that experience when they leave America and they go to university, they go to college somewhere else, and they find out, oh, yeah. Yeah, so this school, they hired me, for example, they hired me to teach English. The students didn't like the way I taught English. After about 3 lessons, they said, we don't really want you for that. But they did keep me to teach IT. Eventually, I proposed to teach English using Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know how many of you know what Dungeons and Dragons is, but I'm assuming a lot of you. So that's mainly what I only teach one class a week there right now, and that is the class that I teach is Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons English. Okay, so they're learning English. Not exactly a board game, Mitch. It's a role-playing game. So it's more about like speaking and talking. We don't use little figures. We play it entirely online. We do have a website that I use, which I'm not sure if I have access to it on this profile. I use my virtual tabletop is Owlbear Rodeo. I'm not sure that I'm logged in. No, I'm not logged in on this profile, but it allows me to I have like a map. Actually, I can just actually show you. If you've never played Dungeons and Dragons, let's see here. Yeah, we'll go here. Boom. And let's see here. Give me a second. I'll find a character sheet that we can use. Yeah, there we go. We'll open. Yeah. So this is, you create a character in the game, and this is the character sheet. And so imagine that you're just learning English. Maybe you're at like middle level, and you have to learn all of these new words. These are your vocabulary words. I know, dude, isn't it? It's totally 80s. But you know what? Dungeons and Dragons is like the most popular game in the world right now. It's super, super huge. Yeah, no, I will, learning great English words like smote. Yeah, and it's extremely effective, you know. And they have to practice English. So in the game, you know, if you want to do something in the game, you have to explain what your character is doing, and you have to use all of these new words and stuff. And yeah, it's super popular. Anyway, so yeah. It's game-based learning is super, super important. So sorry, Mr. Squiggle, but it's thank you. Oh, April, yeah, it's improvisational theater, where a narrator tells you the consequences of your actions and decides what events happen that you have to react to, and plays other characters for you to interact with. Exactly. Yeah, complex tenses, all of that stuff, and it forces them to, you know, and they have to write their own character backgrounds, so they practice writing, but they get so into it that like, I mean, even last night I had one student who was like messaging me, and she's like drawing pictures of her character and writing a new character background. It's really, oh, hey Phil, thank you for joining on my Facebook live stream. You should know that if you want to see what I'm talking about, you'll have to join my YouTube channel, which is @Ukraine. So yeah, so there's that. The other thing I was hired to do at this democratic school. Oh, thank you. So Phil over on Facebook says, I agree that D&D is a great way to practice English. Yeah, it really is. You have to have a pretty high, you have to be at about mid-level in the language, you know, like a B1, I would say at a minimum, to be able to do it properly. But it's a great way to advance your English level. The other thing that I was hired to do by the school was to teach computer classes. And after the war started, I taught myself how to fly drones. And after doing that, let's see if I can find the short video. After teaching myself to fly drones, I proposed teaching drone hacking at the school. I've taught 2 week-long drone hacking camps where we cool, yeah. Phil says, I learned me some talking, playing D&D. Yeah. April says, you learn how to create stories and all the elements just by writing backstory for characters and deciding their motivations. Yeah, it's really true. So yeah, so the school, at the school, I proposed to the students and the staff teaching a drone class, because I taught myself drones, and you know, I have a background in electronics, and I said, let's get some cheap drones, which we bought for we had like 6 drones that we bought for like 500 hryvnias a piece each. They're not good enough to use on the battlefield. Like the cameras aren't good enough. They don't have enough flight time. I mean, they're basically toys, but all the pieces are there. I mean, they have motors, they have controllers, they have batteries. It's just everything's sort of smaller. And so yeah, so I taught 2 week-long drone camps where the kids, let's see, no, yeah, the kids got to fly drones, and you'll see here. Wait, here they're fixing a drone. So this is a drone that they flew. They broke the drone, and then they had to fix it again. And I swear to God, every single drone that they flew, they broke at least 3 times and fixed it again. So these are the kids, right? And so if you can see what they're doing here, They've got this is a drone gun. So I had drone companies come to the school and talk about drones with the kids, present their products. The kids got to ask all kinds of questions. And because they chose to do this, they're like super interested and asked really intelligent questions. So here they're practicing shooting down drones. Here they go. And yeah, um, so we did a lot of that. And then at the end, as kind of I think they're shooting down another one. At the end, as kind of like a final exam, they had to, let's see if I can find it. They had to they built an obstacle course and had to fly this drone through the obstacle course that they created. We'll see. Oh, here we go. I made this video. I don't know. Yeah, practical skills. Anywhere from 12 up to 17, and I mean, I hope that they never have to use these skills. To be honest, but if they do, I mean, I want them to be ready. Check this out, man. It's so awesome. And they cut out this stupid piece of cardboard, and I was like, dude, you're never going to be able to fly a drone through that. And here they did it. Oh, okay, almost. Give me a second. Oh, I basically shit my pants when they did that. So, oh wow, Phil says on Facebook, Phil says, I think in both cases, providing authentic examples of using language is what is really valuable. Yes, exactly. I taught English via content in Turkey, and it was very cool and very effective. Yeah, that is the idea. It's content. It's not learning like the rules of grammar. Yeah. So, let's see. Oh, what are the class lengths? You need motivated students and a particular environment. Yeah, that's exactly because. So Mr. Swiggle says you need motivated students and a particular environment because the students get to choose what they learn. They are motivated, and because they get to choose their teachers, you know, the right kind of teacher, a teacher who matches your learning needs, is a good. You know, it is really just almost as important as the skill. That you're learning. So getting to choose your teacher is also really important. So I taught these two drone camps, and I taught a computer class. I no longer teach computers at the school because one of my students now teaches the computer class at the school. He's now the computer teacher. But the one thing the students really wanted to get more into, like the hardcore electronics, and get more into like hardware, not just learning about how to install Windows and Linux and blah blah blah, all of that. So the school looked around, and they found in Podil, very close to the car dealerships. They found, I hope this website works. Yes, they found this. So this is a hacker lab in Kyiv, just down the street, like walking distance. Yeah, I did. I taught my students so well that, so this is they found a hacker space or a maker lab, and because the school didn't have these facilities, so they basically here, I'll back out. I can show you where the hacker lab is. So the school is here, and the hacker lab is down here somewhere in this general area, like in kind of the uglier car park part of the city, but it's down this way. And they found this place, and they go there, I think twice a week. And the cool thing is they get to learn, specifically when I went to go and visit in October, the school I was in, Kyiv, and they were learning circuit board soldering. Yeah. So Cheryl says, I hated math because nobody ever told me what it was for, right? But that's the thing. So the students wanted more hands-on experience, and they're, at first, when I first started talking about, being a hacker, or learning hacking, they were like, wait, isn't hacking bad? Isn't hacking a bad thing? By the way, Andrea, thank you for joining. I'm multi-streaming to Facebook, so if you want to see what the hell I'm talking about, like what I'm sharing on my screen, you'll have to go over to YouTube, and my YouTube channel is @Y Ukraine, like the word Y in Ukraine. Phil over on Facebook says, knowledge is transferable from language to language. It's strictly a transfer of expression of that knowledge that they have to learn. Yeah, that's exactly right. And especially when you can attach that knowledge to things that they already know and understand, but also make it emotionally important. I mean, this this drone class that I taught, I'm not sure that I would have had a lot of students interested in it before the war, and now it's like it's all about drones, and they were like, yeah, okay, this is important. You can learn anything you want to, but you have to want to. So that's the deal. I'll just show you a couple more videos from the drone class because it was freaking awesome and rad. Oh, Adrian Lechlater. Adrian, thanks for coming. I want to apologize to everybody on Facebook. I tried to stream to both Facebook and YouTube, and it's just not letting me do it. So I'm using two separate devices. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, you'll have to go over to YouTube, and it's @Y Ukraine. And I'm going to pin a message so I don't have to keep saying that over and over. But it's @Y Ukraine on YouTube, and you can find me. April, thank you so much for coming. I've been going for an hour. I am coming to the end of my stream today. But I just wanted to show everybody. So this is a company called Kvertus, and I literally just called them up or messaged them, and I said, "Hey, would you like to come and visit my students?" And I had 5 drone companies come and visit my students for this drone camp, and students got to literally shoot down. These are the same ones that are being used on the battlefield, but they got to really have real life experience. By the way, the person standing in this picture here is a guy from another drone company. He's watching. It's kind of like watching the competition here. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, and here, here's what our little miniature hacker lab looked like, and you can see they're working away, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So somebody recorded this, and they recorded me saying, "If all else fails, read the directions." Um, what, Cheryl? What's what for? Boolean algebra, or you mean this hacker lab? um, you skipped over the Sumerians because math. Nice, nice. Yeah, getting a good teacher is it's all about that. So, it's important to, this is anyway. So anybody who tries to tell me that Ukraine is not a democracy, kid, please fuck off. Because this is they're not just practicing democracy, they're teaching democracy, living democracy. Now, I'm not saying that all schools in Ukraine are democratic. No. They're as bad or worse. And I have students who are in standard Ukrainian state schools, and yeah, they're basically Stalinist. They're equivalent to like bad, like inner city American schools, basically. So yeah, I get nothing but, I mean, and the thing is, a lot of kids come to the democratic school traumatized, absolutely traumatized by public school. And this happens in America as well. And they spend maybe the first 6 months of, and this is always the first thing that people say. They say, yeah, if I were in a school like that, I would just do nothing. I wouldn't learn. Nobody could make me learn, Well, in regular school, they have to pound it into your brain. I mean, what percentage of things did you actually learn that you were taught, is the question. So in this school, people are there because they want to learn. And if they don't want to learn, they don't have to. They can go and do something else. Jennifer, thanks for coming onto my Facebook live stream. You should just know that I'm multi-streaming to YouTube, or trying to. And by the way, how's Albuquerque these days? I'm on YouTube, and if you want to find me on YouTube, you can type @Y Ukraine, like the word Y, and you can see what I'm showing on my screen, basically. So if you didn't know, for those of you who are here, I'm in Ukraine. I've been in Ukraine since 2019. So a lot of my friends on Facebook may or may not be aware that I've been in Ukraine for 4 years now, more than 4 years. So I just want to, make sure that that's clear. So democratic schools, pretty freaking rad. And, when I see these bombs falling here in this part of Kyiv, it directly affects me, Like, I almost didn't even want to show you where the school was, because I'm going like, oh my God, what if some Russian troll, what if some Russian troll sees this and the Russians decide to shoot a bomb, But then again, I'm like, oh wait, Russian missiles can't hit anything accurately, so. Mitch asked, Mr. Squiggle, don't police knock on your door if you don't continuously. Yeah, that's interesting. Possibly, man. Yeah, drone class when I went to school would be all theory. Yeah, that was a while ago, huh? I spent high school getting stoned and playing music. I mean, to be honest with you, that's okay too. That's okay too. Yeah, show up. Like, yeah, exactly. What does rock up mean? Like to go to, come up. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if your goal is to become a musician, then yeah, maybe you should specialize. And that's another thing that democratic schools allow is they allow that sort of deep learning that students need to do. Imagine spending an entire week, just every day, 8 hours a day, doing drones, electronics, blah blah blah, all that stuff. The hacking lab stuff. Imagine sitting here and just being allowed to sit in this room and do electronics, what you are actually interested in, for as long as you want. And when you stop being interested, you can just go somewhere else. You go and do something else. I mean, yeah, in some of my classes, I would have kids come in to the class and they would just sleep. And I mean, that was a choice that they could make. And, in most cases, those were students who, like I said, they went to public school. They were sort of just traumatized. They wanted to rebel against everything. And then eventually they get into the democratic school and they realize, wait a minute, there's nothing to rebel against here. I mean, I'm just shooting myself in the foot by doing that. And that's when, they see all the other students sort of making stuff, learning stuff, participating, playing Dungeons and Dragons, whatever it is. And then they're like being drawn in, pulled in. And, it makes for very determined students. Ranjit, thank you for coming. Wow. Are you still in Silicon Valley? Okay. Anyway, Ranjit, thanks for joining me on Facebook. I'm multi-streaming. How many times am I going to say this, guys? I'm multi-streaming to Facebook and YouTube. But if you want to see what the heck I'm showing, my live streaming, my third-party live streaming software, Facebook just doesn't like it. So I said, fuck it, I'm just going to stream on 2 devices. But if you want to see what I'm talking about, what I'm sharing on my screen, you'll have to go over to my YouTube channel, which is @YUkraine. Mitch just said, we taught the shop teacher how to bridge amps. See? That's awesome. Herb said, I got kicked out of band class for being disruptive. Yeah. I mean, I've had disruptive kids in my classes at my Bootney, for sure. Yeah, thanks, Ranjit. My God. Wow, the last time I saw you, you were sleeping in, well, I was going to say you were sleeping in my bed, but that sounds wrong. Okay. Yeah, so that's why I only went on test days. I wasn't learning anything new and had a shit guidance counselor. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just imagine if you got to choose the classes that you went to and choose the teachers of those classes. My personal feeling is that democratic education, democratic with a small d, is the way of the future. Absolutely the way of the future. And, I like the fact that my butni means in Ukrainian means future. That's literally what it means. Vladislav, thank you for joining. I'm going to say it again, guys. So I'm on YouTube and Facebook. If you want to see what I'm doing, what I'm showing people, it's on YouTube. And my YouTube it's American in Ukraine, Why Ukraine. If you want to see that, it's just type in @ Why Ukraine, like the WHY Ukraine on YouTube. So yeah, I just there's all kinds of negative stuff happening with the bombings and the drone attacks and the Russian psyops, and it's awful. But I wanted to show you something positive, in the face of that, because we have to fight back against that. And, all the other news we can talk about, the AI Pootler, this weird crap. Can you believe, like, they actually, we have reasonable certainty that this was an AI generated speech, image, movie of Putin. Phil must be a teacher here. From an applied linguistics perspective, Ingvald, that's me, by the way, you're referring to what's known as effective features of language acquisition. Yes, language acquisition versus language learning is, super, super important. I put a big emphasis on this because in the public schools here in Ukraine, they're very old school. They teach second languages the way that I was taught, like Spanish, for example, which is grammar first rather than speaking first and language. Yeah. Oh, you used to be a teacher. I could tell. I have a master's degree in education, and so I was a teacher in America and now here in Ukraine. I've been teaching for 4 years. That's interesting, Mitch. Yeah, it speaks volumes of what I think about how the world changed, that I am so relieved and almost surprised democratic school isn't what it sounded like. Yeah, right? Because when people heard, when I started talking about democratic schools, a lot of people thought, well, what about Republican schools? So, and Cheryl, let's see. I wanted to take Latin, and my Mormon high school counselor said, what do you need that for? You're going to be a housewife. Classic. Yeah. So, we've got all kinds of other crazy stuff, and I definitely hope that you keep up with the news. We've got lots of news going on, and there's lots of other people out there showing you the maps and all of that stuff. But I just I'm trying to provide you something different here, a different perspective. The view from Ukraine and what I see and what I hear. And this other stuff, we'll talk about it. We can talk about it tomorrow. It's not the end of the world. Not yet, anyway. The last thing I'll end with is I want to talk about my Shopify, my fundraising. So you guys, actually, I'm going to type into Facebook my Shopify site before I talk about it here. So it's whyukraine.myshopify.com. And so that is the website that I'm using to raise money for funds for things for soldiers here in Ukraine. And those of you who are on YouTube can see it right in front of you. I'm super excited that yesterday my commander in the Legion picked up 3 boxes of stuff that you guys donated. 48 pairs of wool socks, which, by the way, if you go and look at my shorts on my YouTube channel, you'll see all of the socks laid out. I had to go to like 3 different shops. Anyway, the point is, also two sets of rain gear, so like waterproof clothes for soldiers in the trenches and in training, and then some secondhand uniforms. Okay. Also, I want to say that so that arrived yesterday. I got pictures of them picking up the boxes, but I have to edit the pictures for OPSEC. Because my commander was like, yeah, you got to block out the face and block out like the window so nobody can see exactly where these things are going to. Geolocating, we don't want that. So, but I will be posting that to the community part of the channel and also onto my Facebook. Oh, Pete. Hey, Pete. Pete Schaefer's just joined on Facebook. And Pete, okay, I swear to God, this is the last time I'm going to say this because I'm actually ending my stream right now, Pete. But I am live streaming on YouTube and Facebook, but my live streaming software isn't working. So if you want to see what I'm showing on my screen right now, and you can go over to YouTube and type in @Why Ukraine. So let me see if I can. Why Ukraine? And that should give you my channel. And the name of my channel is American in Ukraine, Why Ukraine. And Pete Schaefer's is a childhood friend of mine, childhood friend of my father's. So it's great to see you. Pete, all I'm going to say is that American Airlines, it flies 50 miles without gas. That's an in-joke for Pete. We'll see if he remembers. Yeah, so the first shipments have arrived to the International Legion for the defense of Ukraine. In the meantime, people have contributed enough money to buy at least one plate carrier, which I will be ordering. I will be ordering this week. And also, we've got 3 tourniquets. One is already ordered, and 2 more are going to get ordered. And plus, people have purchased more rain gear, more socks, more secondhand uniforms. I'm not sure. Some people have contributed for ceramic plates for the plate carrier, but I need to go and check if enough has been donated to buy the plates. As I recall, yeah. So I've got them at $600 for a pair of plates, $600, but I might be able to get them for cheaper. So I think what we've got right now is about $150 or $200 donated for the plates that go in the plate carrier. If I can get that up to $400, then I'm pretty sure I can find plates for that, for around that price. And I need, being careful about quality and things. And the same is true for the plate carrier. I know we've got enough now for one plate carrier, but I need to make sure that the plates match the plate carrier in size. Herb says, I was listening in on shortwave when the U2 ran out of gas over Turkey and dead sticked it into Edwards. Wow. Whoa, Randy Gallagher, holy crap cakes. Dude, how's Sacramento these days, my man? Greetings from Ukraine. Okay, I said, all right, this is sorry guys, I am ending my stream right now. But if you want to watch it, I'm live streaming to both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. But Facebook kind of sucks, so I can't like share my screen with you. But if you want to see what I'm doing, you can go over to YouTube, and it's @Ukraine. And hopefully, if you scroll up, Randy, you should be able to see the address, which is yukraine.myshopify.com, and then the YouTube handle. Okay, thanks, Herb. Thanks for coming, guys. It is 7 o'clock here. I think the sun is going to come up soon. I want to thank everybody who came to this live stream today, and just talking made me feel better, and knowing that there are people out there who support Ukraine and are interested in what the hell I'm doing in my life made me feel really a lot better, because I felt like shit. I started. Thank you, Phil. Thanks. And I hope I get to see all of you again. I swear to God, I'm going to get this Facebook, YouTube thing figured out so I can do it without being weird like this. So with that, I just want to say дякую, as they say here in Ukraine, which means thanks to all of you. And до побачення, which means see you later. Slava Ukraine.